Tapi nampak,
Nampak online webinar tu lah, yang poster tu.
ada tak nampak benda-benda lain?
Tak.
Nickname ada nampak?
Nampak a clear picture.
Nampak tak cik? Ya,
Tak.
memang itu saja yang you nampak.
Yes.
Juga ya.
Ni je yang nampak. You want to check?
Dr. Sheila, just now I went into Teams. There are still people inside there. Maybe I give them this link.
Yes, Datin.
I give them this link. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Hi,
Hi, Dr. Lokbul. How are you?
good. Before the rest join us, may I try to share screen because I have slides, if
Sure.
possible? I
You can
just want
share.
to be sure that it's possible. I do a quick one, yeah?
Yeah. Hi, Prof.
Hi, everybody okay? Look, all ladies, eh?
All ladies.
Not
Are you
raining
able
here.
to?
Yes, we are ready. We have only one more, right? Dr. Satisha.
Okay, I'll stop sharing. Thanks.
Suha.
Sekejap I tengok Dr. Satisha.
May I just say hi to Datin Ng?
Hi.
First time meeting you, and also Prof. Ahmad. Yeah, nice to
Hi.
meet you.
Hi.
Hello, Dantin. How are you?
Hi, Prof.
Meet you again.
Yeah, long time no speak.
So thank you for joining us.
Thank you for inviting. Yeah. Good to connect back.
No worries. I think Kit will be around, should be around, and it is now connected us.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Doktor, Wan Josiah belum masuk, is it?
Belum masuk. I think I'm not very sure because they're running out of space. Originally, we asked for 100, and then the participants, I think now is around 150. So now they try to connect with the Facebook. So I think just two of us now. So where are you now? With Tyler, isn't it? No.
No. I'm with Sheila. I'm in Segi.
Nilai?
Segi.
Oh, Segi knowledge. Segi University, yeah.
Yeah.
Ma Awang is my good friends. I'm not very sure whether he's still around or not. Prof. Mat Awang, maybe you know. Former Vice Chancellor, is it? Vice Chancellor? Or, I think Vice Chancellor, yeah. Or Deputy Vice Chancellor, I think.
So how are you getting on?
Well, because we are very well connected with many.
That's good.
Then the Ma Awang is actually with UPM and the same as me.
I see.
Different faculty is in environmental science, something like that.
Mm.
Myself in education.
I
Sorry,
was,
Prof. Sorry, just to interrupt. We are going to let everyone in. All the
Yeah.
participants are waiting.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Dr. Sheila, mana? Dr. Sheila?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, thank you. Sorry.
A very good afternoon to everyone. I am Associate Professor Dr. Sheila Devi, Secretary of Malaysian Association of Education, MAE, and I am honored to serve as your MC for today's webinar titled STEM in Malaysia from Policy Ambition to National Reality. On behalf of MAE and our committee, I would like to warmly welcome all our distinguished guests, speakers, educators, and participants joining us this afternoon. A very special welcome to our President, Prof. Datuk Muhammad Majid Konting, and to Mr. Kit from the MAE leadership team. I would also welcome our MAE team members who are here today with us. Puan Suguna Devi, Encik Hamidi, Encik Zul Fakar, Encik Azlan Sharum, Dr. Izzah, and Mr. Siva Sodinathan. Thank you all for your continuous support and contribution. And of course, a warm welcome to all participants joining us from across Malaysia and abroad. We appreciate your time and presence. Without further ado, it is my honor to introduce our President, Prof. Datuk Muhammad Majid, President of MAE, and a well-respected leader in Malaysian education. I now invite Prof. Datuk Majid to deliver his welcoming remark. Prof. Datuk, the floor is yours.
Okay. Thank you, Associate Professor Dr. Sheila, the MC. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera and very good afternoon to our distinguished panelists, distinguished guests, educators, esteemed participants, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of Persatuan Pendidikan Malaysia, POFEMA, and Malaysian Association for Education, MAE, and as the current president, it is my great pleasure to welcome you to our webinar, STEM in Malaysia, from Policy Ambition to National Reality. This webinar is both timely and important as Malaysia continues to strengthen its education ecosystem. STEM education plays a central role in driving innovation, nurturing future talents, and preparing our students to thrive in an increasingly complex and technology-driven world. Today, we are honored to have with us a panel of experts who represent both policy and practice. Through their perspectives, this session will help us to better understand the current direction of STEM policy in Malaysia. Second is to explore practical and scalable approaches to enhance STEM teaching and learning. And third, to examine the real implementation challenges faced by schools and institutions. And the fourth is gain insight from policymakers and experienced STEM educators who are directly involved in shaping and delivering STEM education on the ground. These kind of conversations bring together policymakers, academics, school leaders, and practitioners. We believe is crucial if we truly want to move from policy ambition to national reality in STEM, as being highlighted in the Malaysian, the 13 Malaysian RMK 13. So once again, heartfelt thanks to Associate Professor Dr. Sheila, Ms. Nurul Salvana, Professor Shamin, and Kit Tong of Profema MEE Events Committee for organizing this pertinent talk today. Finally, I would like to record my sincere appreciation to all our speakers for accepting our invitation and to all participants for taking the time to be with us. Your presence reflects our shared commitment to advancing STEM education for the benefits of our students and, of course, to our nation. With that, I look forward to a productive and inspiring discussion. Thank you very much. Now I hand over the session back to Dr. Sheila. Thank you, Dr. Sheila.
Thank you, Prof. Dato, for the inspiring welcoming note. Okay, before we proceed, we will take a short visual photo session. May I kindly invite all speakers, panelists, and participants to turn on your cameras for a few moments. We will capture several screenshots. All right, ready? And smile. Okay, all right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next. It's my pleasure to introduce our moderator for today. We are honored to have with us Prof. Dr. Ahmad Ismail, Fellow Academic Science Malaysia and Professor at University Putra Malaysia, respected academician and contributor to STEM development in our country. Prof. Ahmad, thank you for moderating our session today. With that, I now hand the session over to you, Prof.
Thank you, Dr. Sheila. You hear me clearly now?
Yes, Prof.
Okay, thank you. Welcome everybody for this very important discussion. I hope we have a very good panelist as Majid mentioned just now. We can achieve our objective that he mentioned. So thank you to the organizer, MAE, for giving me the opportunity to become a moderator for today. Actually, I'm no more UPM. I'm retired 10 years ago. And active in some other occasion. But people always relate strongly with UPM because I was with UPM for many years and contributing to many fields from teaching, research, and especially in university development and students' activity and so on. So thank you again for the opportunity given to me. And as we know, Dr. Majid mentioned just now, education needs transformation, and STEM is very important to face the new era. What we call it now, we are talking about post-normal era. So the STEM, we have been talking about STEM for many years, since 1970s. Actually, I'm one of the product. In 1970, planned for 60-40, and then until now, after 50 years, over 50 years, and we are still cannot achieve the 60-40. We try in Negeri Sembilan, Selangor. At one time, we can get some in Negeri Sembilan. But today, we are going to discuss more. We listen to our distinguished panel to talk about policies and how we adopt the policies to the current situation, so that we can meet our mission, especially to face, as I mentioned just now, the post-normal time, which is full of uncertainties. This is what we are lacking. We are not ready with the emerging issues. But for our MK 13, we need to go along with SDG, with the budget the government gave. I hope we can focus on what they plan in the policy. We listen more from the panel. I think I don't have to explain further. So today we have 4 panels. Number one is Dr. Wan Rai Zoha Wan Ali, the Director of Education Macro Planning Sector. I think is a very important person to explain to us about the policy, and then what are the practice that we can we need to handle the issues in Malaysia. The second panels, we have Dr. Sun Boon. He is curriculum, involved a lot in curriculum development, so it's very suitable. And curriculum development is very important, must meet the current and the future direction of STEM in Malaysia. The third one, we have Dr. Satisha Gunasakaran. Is a STEM leader in one of the private college, I think. So this is a good example to share how they practice it at the private college. And finally, we have Dr. Tian Lok Boon, a former Pro-Vice Chancellor at Learning and Teaching Taylor's College. It's another good panels that we need to share, because my daughter from Taylor College last time, so I can see how dynamic in the curriculum, the
context.
producing a good graduate. So today we have 4 panelists. I think what we want to do here, I give you 20 minutes, 10 minutes for the first round to present your ideas and thinking about the topics and your expertise, because from policy ambition to national reality is something that we cannot dream anymore. We have to show, to teach, to bring public together to understand. There's a lot of gaps that we are facing. Yesterday we discussed about implementing STEM in Malaysia. People speak in English at the rural school. They just know how to clap the hand to understand what they're talking, what the panelists are talking. So we need to go there with a series of panels today, experience in planning and policy development, and then monitoring the practices, sharing the knowledge and curriculum development, and showcase example in non-government universities or non-government schools. So now I would like to invite the first speaker, Dr. Wan Rezwan, you are here already? I didn't see you today. Not yet.
Prof, she's not here yet. Maybe we start with the second speaker first.
So we can start with Datin first. Are you okay, Datin?
Sure,
I'm
sure.
here.
Yeah,
I'm
Dr.
here actually.
Dr. Aksun Bon. Okay, you can start first.
No, I think Dr. Wan Raisuha is here.
Yeah.
Dr. Wan Raisuha, you are here, right?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay, sorry. This is the weaknesses of online. So it's okay. Okay, we assume we are face to face now. Dr. Wan Raizuha Wan Ali introduced just now. So I think the floor is yours for 10 minutes. Dr. Wan Raizuha.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much, Dr. Ahmad, for the introduction. Very good afternoon, everyone, and to my distinguished panelists and our respected audience. I'm not sure how many we have online at the moment, but I've been
95.
asked to talk about transferable competencies for Industry 4.0 within our national context, and which are the 3 or 4 competencies which we think that are non-negotiable for our graduates and why. So I would like to say that this is a critical question actually in the context of digital, AI, green economy, and technical skills that may get you the job. And but it is the foundational competencies that we are looking at the Ministry of Education. We look at the foundational competencies, and I would like to quote some of Talent Corp 2024 findings, and I would like to prioritize 3 competencies actually. And the number 1 is actually digital fluency and sustainability awareness. And we find that this is now called a core component for as a foundational skills. Graduates aren't just using tools; they are collaborating with you with AI. They are using AI and managing data-driven processes across sectors. Therefore, if a graduate is not comfortable in navigating in the digital ecosystems, then they may be obsolete one day. And the second one I would like to say is that it is about critical thinking and innovative thinking. As automation and AI take over routine tasks, what of about the human? So we have to make sure that in terms of the human factor, we have to shift to looking at solving complex problems. We need graduates who can look at data like big data analytics and apply critical thinking to make strategic decisions. Therefore, it is about making sense of the technology and not only about operating it. And the third competency that we find that we think that is critical is adaptability and resilience. You see, the Talent Corp data shows that all jobs now require a mixture of 16 foundational and hundreds of specific skills. Therefore, a graduate must possess that resilience to handle rapid disruptions, able to adapt and pivot specific technical roles that evolves. That is the safety net that keeps them employable in a long-term run. So therefore, in summary, I would like to say that our graduates must be digitally fluent enough to use the tools, critical enough to question the results, adaptable enough to change with the market, and sustainability conscious enough to build a future that lasts. Thank you. That's all from me for now.
Thank you, Dr. Wan. Very sharp and short. So we can see the digital ecosystem. We need the ecological digital ecosystem, critical thinking, and adaptability for resilient, meaning get ready for the future. But how
Yes.
to do it? We listen from other panels. Datin, are you ready?
Sure, sure. I'm going to share my screen just to, okay, I'm sharing my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, Prof, and also the fellow panelists and the rest. I'm happy to be talking about STEM here. For those of you who knows me, I spent 27 years in Curriculum Development Center, Ministry of Education, and for those 27 years, I'm dealing with policy of STEM. So maybe a lot of the history of the policy. If we have time, we can talk about it, okay? But basically, I want to talk about humanizing STEM, right? So you see, one of the problem we are facing when we are talking about STEM, like what Prof, the moderator say, which is the 60-40. You mentioned 60-40, right? So when we talk about 60-40, one of the main problem we are facing, not only Malaysia, throughout the world. In fact, it is even worse in the West, which is there are many students who do not want to study STEM. Okay, so right in Malaysia, for many years ago, when we decided on the 60-40, we did a lot of calculation. I was leading a team. We calculate and we were advising kids to go into STEM and all that. There were many reasons.
Alhamdulillah.
There were many reasons for students not going for STEM. Okay? Now, one of the reasons is that they don't see the meaning of it. They don't see the meaning of learning science and STEM. And number two, of course, is the monetary award on, the STEM job doesn't bring you to a lot of money, okay? You see the business people driving big cars, having big houses, but not the STEM. So at one point, we were actually looking at making it compulsory for those who have A's in the PMR to go straight into science, but later on we can't do that because it is the student's future. So therefore, that is why when I am retired and in SEGI, I was interested to dwell further into this. And this is when about 2 years ago, when I was involved with IBE UNESCO, they wanted me and get a team to look at humanizing STEM. So I jumped at that opportunity. Now, what do we mean by humanizing STEM? If we want to talk about humanizing STEM, we should look at this industrial revolution. We know that IR1 is about mechanization and also steam engine. When we come to IR 4.0 is already going digital, and we are actually transitioning to IR 5.0. And IR 5.0 is already happening very rapidly right now, where you see a lot of humanizing as well as personalizing, meaning that if in the past IR we mass produce, but in this IR, we are going into customization. We produce, like, for example, 3D printing. Maybe you may just produce something that is customized to the needs. And this is also because we are going into sustainability. We are focusing more into sustainability. The generation now, the young people today, they don't need to be worried so much about, their food, their house, or whatever, but they look at their meaning of life. And to them, that meaning of life, taking care of our well-being of our world as well as human life is very important. So that's where I started looking at humanizing STEM. And I think that in this fifth industrial revolution, when we talk about human-centric, we are actually also, with this, it comes into, where we talk about robot working with us, and we want to personalize so that the robot is working alongside with us. But of course, I have to agree that a lot of ethical issue comes out of that, when we try to maybe personalize the robot or things like that. But this humanizing STEM, it's where you place human in the central focus, meaning that we are going into this STEM career, or we are going into STEM because we believe that whatever we do finally is for our good. You see, at one point, if you remember in the 1980s or 1990s, we always equate development in science with weapon, with destruction of human life. So today, when we look at placing human in the central focus, I believe that we will be able to bring in more young people into the STEM field, because you know that for climate change, you need the STEM people for clean water and all. So I do see the potential of humanizing STEM in encouraging more people to go into STEM, and also bringing STEM towards the positive and right direction, not for destruction, but for construction, but for betterment of our human life. Okay, so when we talk about humanizing STEM, we are trying to make it relevant to our current life. And in this case, we are looking at us doing some action and also solving human problem, using STEM to solve human problem. All right. So at the same time, we need to, I think in my many years in the STEM, I feel that we did not do very well in this, where we want the students to have this sense of agency, which is knowing that they are in control, some control of their life, where they can play a role in addressing sustainability related issues. And later on in the second part, I'm going to talk about pedagogy, where we can involve young people in making decision, problem solving, etc. Yeah, then we can see how we can make it meaningful. All right. So humanizing STEM is placing human in the central focus. With that, we have to change the pedagogy, and with that, even assessment has to be we have to tweak it towards that. All right. And humanizing STEM is also creating a just and democratic society. If you notice in the Facebook or in the social media, people talk a lot about this justice and all that. All right. So when we talk about humanizing STEM, we should look at that. I'd like to share a little bit on this climate change. This was slides not prepared by me, but prepared by a peer, one of the speaker we invited for talk on climate change. It says that in 2021, they conduct a survey in France, and they asked the young people about climate change. 80% expect a catastrophic future on climate and also atmospheric pollution. Another 20% they personally and eventually they say they will be engaged. 20% modernists say that technological solution will definitely avoid drastic changes. But very sad is 20% indifferent, don't care, 40% distant consciousness, but no or little action. So this is something that we need to address. Why is it so? Why are the young people like that? And this is another study in US, where they ask teacher, do you teach climate change? And many say that no, it's not related to the subject. So people are looking at in the curriculum, it's not there, so I don't teach. Or some say that, oh, student too young. But many of them, if you look at this 70%, I don't know enough about it. I don't have enough. So I feel that when we talk about humanizing STEM, teachers' factor is so important, that meaning that the STEM curriculum content has also to be added with learning material for teacher and for student. Okay, Pierre Lena has this talking about eco-anxiety. Every time when I look at this slide, I feel quite sad. A 4-year-old girl say, I'm sad. I shall never have children. When I grow up, we all shall be dead. We have nothing to eat. Another one say, is it true, Daddy, that we will all be dead when I will grow up? A student say, we have to leave the world. The earth is ruined. And there is a youth say, we no longer believe in progress. We no longer want growth and economic expansion, because this senseless and blind quest is leading us towards this disaster. So there is this lack of sense of agency and all. So even there is the project that I'm working on humanizing STEM, the students are not interested to know. Yeah, this is in the university. The lecturer are telling us, students are telling us, I don't see they see a meaning. So I feel that in order to attract more people into STEM, in order to let people see the meaning in it, we do have to focus on humanizing STEM, especially towards the sustainability issue and things like that. Okay, and this sense of agency, you are free to choose, but what you make of your life, it is called free agency, and it is your birthright. So we are going towards this. I don't think we want to be that. All right. So we place human in the central focus. All right. So I'm going to stop share here. So in a nutshell, I'm saying that yes, policy and vision. So we have to set some policy in our government or in whichever country, so that we can have better STEM outcome. We can have more people towards taking up STEM, and one of the way will be through humanizing STEM. Thank you, Prof.
Okay, Datin, very good on humanization. I'm in nature environment, so I've been talking this long time ago, and nobody believed. And now we are facing another one now. For example, now with the current weather, and then the future REE. So your point need to be elaborate more later. We discuss. Thank you. Very
Okay,
good.
all right.
Thank you, Datin. We go for the third one. Dr. Satisha. Dr. Satisha, ready?
Yes, Doctor,
Yeah,
I'm
okay.
here.
Yeah, silakan.
Okay, thank you, Doctor. I'm Dr. Satisha. I'm from Tendi Schools, Penang. I'm the STEAM leader in the school, and I've been in the teaching line for the past 15 years, and STEM is my main focus when I did my postgraduate studies. So the question today given to me by the team is, human-centered AI is a powerful phrase. How can STEM education concretely prepare students to design and use AI systems that are ethical, inclusive, and aligned with human values? So I think it's a very powerful question, and it's very apt to discuss about it today as well. Because I think with the AI, let me just take you back how it started, right? So when first AI became the discussion in the in the mainstream conversation, everyone had this one common feeling, which is uncertainty. So parents were asking like, what are the jobs that still going to be exist for my child? Teachers were asking like, how do I teach something that's evolving constantly, more faster than the curriculum? So how am I going to do this? Some even feared of their own job. So that was how AI actually came into the mainstream conversation. But when we talk about preparing students for their future with powerful technologies like AI, the strongest defense against misuses of fear begins with the mindset. I should say we should start looking at our thinking, right? So before they learn about the tools, they must first learn how to think. And this is exactly where STEAM and STEM integration becomes essential. Okay, when we refer to STEM today, the global perspective have definitely changed. So we are looking at STEM as an integrated approach in teaching and learning. And it seems to be very successful and able to bring up students' thinking, right? So what does it mean by integrated approach? So we don't put science, technology, engineering, and maths into silos, but we bring all that together in a point where it all meets together. And the point where it all meets together is the contextualization of that lesson, which is based on real world scenario, right? So we start with real world application, followed by looking at how this can bring life to life competencies such as critical thinking, creative thinking, all these things. Now, this is only possible when we use the backbone of STEM, which is engineering design process, design thinking, computational thinking, all these models as metacognition models to scaffold students' thinking. So that means when they do a STEM project, they are not only doing the project, but they're thinking about what they want to do. Because every STEM project starts with the question why. So that is why contextualization is very, very important. And why question is, why am I learning this? How is it connected to my life or my community or even the nation? How is it going to support them or help them. So when the meaning is set, when the empathy is created among students, then you can see the project evolves naturally. In fact, you can see a lot more students are getting involved because they find a reason to why they are learning certain topic. That's the beauty of STEM and STEAM approach in learning. So when they have the clarity in their thinking, when they are, they are dynamic students, they want to do more, they want to learn more, they want to make their project better with iteration, that's when you are looking at this wholesome, student where they're thinking about not only themselves, but for the entire nation, and they're creating something meaningful based on their knowledge and skills that they have acquired from the curriculum. Okay, when the mindset is created, that's when we can talk about human-centered AI. So what is human-centered AI? So according to UNESCO AI Competency Guide, it is all about human-centered mindset and keeping ethics of AI at the core of learning. UNESCO explicitly emphasizes critical thinking and responsible use of AI, and it should be supporting human decision and intellectual development rather than undermining it. So you see the connection, right? So STEM is the core for mindset and how we think, and then we are now ready to move to AI. Okay, so what is AI? What is this AI competency spoken by UNESCO? So it's broken down to 4 dimensions for learners and 5 dimensions for educators, right? For students, UNESCO defines 12 competencies in this 4 dimension, which are human-centered mindset, ethics of AI techniques and applications, and AI system design, okay? And these will progress based on their understanding, application, and creation. As for educators, is 5 different dimensions, as I said. It is based on human-centered mindset, ethics of AI foundation and application, AI pedagogy, and AI for professional learning. So you can later read about it. There's a lot of materials around it. But when I read about this in their documents, I could easily find dimension 1 to 4 for students and dimension 1 to 3 and 4 for teachers can be supported using STEAM approach or STEM approach in the classroom. Okay, one such example can be think about a STEM project with assistive technology design challenge. Okay, where students have to design a prototype to support someone with vision or hearing or mobility challenge. So how they can do this? As for the human-centered mindset, first thing, they have to go and interview people who have this, challenges. They have to consider and empathize people that has challenges in terms of vision, hearing, and mobility. So that's how we are setting the mindset, the right mindset using STEM approach. Followed by AI system design, where they incorporate voice recognition, simple machine learning or automation. And finally, thinking about ethics of AI, discussion on privacy, bias, who will benefit and who will be excluded. These are the things. So AI, they are not only using it, but also challenging the data. Does the data fit to the project? So that is why you cannot teach AI just stand alone. STEM need to be, the supporting material or stepping stone for AI to evolve among teaching and learning among the students and teachers. Another example can be like how my previous speaker, she spoke about sustainability challenges that we are facing now, which can be climate action or thinking about waste that's been created or transportation issues. So student can apply computational thinking and AI tools to solve a sustainability issue. They'll be analyzing environment data using AI and evaluate unintended consequences and create a prototype solution using sensors, coding, machine learning tools, and so on. So the creativity of how we can bring STEM to support AI learning and competencies to humanize the entire process is endless. It up to us educators how we want to do this. So I would say when we ask how do we prepare students to design AI that is ethical, inclusive, and human-centered, I would say we don't start with coding or don't even start with looking at different AI tools. Let's start with mindset, empathy, inquiry, reflection, and intentional STEM or STEAM integration learning experience in our classroom. If we can teach our learners to think deeply, solve responsibly, and design with humanity at the center, supported by STEAM approach or STEM approach, then AI doesn't become a threat anymore. It becomes a good partner, a good tool for everyone, a force that amplifies us to become a better human, not by replacing us, So that is why you cannot just dive into AI. To support industry or even to support us as a community, we need STEM, to get things going on with the AI. So with that, that's all from me, Doctor. Thank you.
Thank you, Satisha. Very good. I like the ethic one. So that is what we have to have a very good people to look into this. Not that easy because now we are just copying from others and people are moving fast than what our culture allow. So that is educator and the skill thinking, creativity you mentioned just now, very relevant. And I think we need to work harder with many people. So with 98 people in this group, I think we can work together, find our expert and move forward. So we go for our next one, Dr. Tian Lobon from Taylor University. So I think you have a lot to explain, especially on the multidiscipline learning to support past three speakers. So Dr. Tian.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ahmad. And I would like to first start by echoing all the important and very insightful points from my colleagues here. And they are actually covered a very, very important food for thoughts for today. Allow me to share screen. I must say that I'm actually trained as an engineer and spending many years in higher education, as well as a mother of a 9-year-old son. This conversation is very close to my heart. How can we make STEM education more meaningful, more collaborative, and more human for the generation Alpha? My son is one of them. So I think it's important to also recognize that according to a study, Gen Alpha is actually different from the other generation, but they are living in the world where, as mentioned by our colleagues here, where technology is really disrupting the future, the current sphere of work. So you can see on the screen, everyone is talking about Gen AI, talking about humanoid, and how they actually reshape the workplace. At the same time, in Malaysia, we are still facing and trying to address this challenge where 50% of SPM leavers choose not to further their studies, not to even mention about whether they choose engineering or science discipline. And they prefer to actually, according to the statistic, to pursue career in being a social media influencer or even e-hailing. I'm not against these options. I just hope every day when I look at the our friends that involved in e-hailing, I sincerely hope someone tell them that autonomous delivery is at our doorstep. I think we are all having a common concern. How can we better prepare our Gen Alpha, our coming generation for their future? And when we talk about STEM, we tend to talk about how we can attract or push more students into STEM. But for Gen Alpha, I think the real question is really, are they still interested or care about the world around them? Do they really care? Do they still care? The problem that we are aware, 92% of Malaysian teens have social media accounts, but unfortunately, 73.7% of our students show social media addiction, and 35% of them addicted to online games. And this is based on a study in Selangor. And even what is even worse, in my opinion, is 1 in 4 Malaysian adolescents felt depressed, and 1 in 10 had attempted suicide, according to a national survey in 2022. So we are now dealing with a generation that is hyper-connected, but not necessarily deeply engaged or well. So the question I think that we probably want to answer is, how can we inspire our students to be more curious and care, as our colleagues mentioned as well just now? And based on experience in higher education, as well as based on study that I've observed, one of the few important innovation in learning that we may consider and shared by our colleagues as well. The first one is experiential hands-on learning. Our kids, I think, don't want to study science. They want to do science. And this is something I see in my son as well. He is different when he go to the normal classes as compared to the after school makers club that he's in. He come alive. He really enjoy the opportunity to build, to test ideas and see whether it works. So I think what we really need probably in the country is a lot more makers corners, opportunity for students to experiment, and low cost material maybe for students to build, to tinker with. And at the same time, we also need teachers who can guide them and empower them to do so. And in my personal opinion, and this is what I've been doing for the past many years at Taylor's University, we actually believe in purpose-driven learning through real-world projects. When students see rubbish in the river, it's actually a moment for scientific inquiry. Why does it happen? And it's also a moment for compassion. Who are affected and what can we do about it? Imagine our curriculum in the country offering students opportunity to design flood detection. It's happening now today. To alert their community. Imagine to have a chance to design food compost to actually help to reduce wet food waste at their canteen and school. Imagine they got the chance to measure the quality of air around the school. Studies have shown, and we have data as well to show that purpose-driven project-based learning is especially powerful for Generation Alpha. And I'm truly excited with this opportunity to witness the introduction of Alumni Manusia Pembelajaran Bersepadu that will be introduced in 2027 for Standard 1. Hopefully my son will have a chance to experience it. And I do sincerely hope that you offer place-based learning. One example, as you can see on the screen, offering students opportunity to understand the community, which make learning meaningful, as well as to experience the example of experiential work projects that I mentioned just now. Last but not least, I personally believe, and this is what we did as well at Taylor's University, empathy before innovation, as mentioned by colleagues as well. Taylor's University engineering and computer science students have a chance to teach Scratch programming to kids at welfare home. And what they do is actually they always start with allowing the kids at the welfare home to experience what does it feel and how does it feel being blind by folding the eye, as you can see on the screen, the picture on the left-hand picture on the screen. Before they actually teach the kids on object recognition Scratch programming, and the purpose of doing the object recognition programming is to help people who are blind to recognize object in front of them because they can't see it. So I believe that by offering such learning experience for our students, we'll be able to nurture young Malaysians who are curious and care for STEM education to prosper. Thank you very much. I'm happy to share more after this.
Yeah, sorry, I mean, thank you. Very, very, very interesting. I think all four give some good ideas so that of us can, for the second round, we can digest all. I like your, uh, when you touch about hands-on. That's why when I introduce STEM through nature, how they can learn from what they can see with your eyes, they can smell, and they can touch, and they can answer it scientifically. When they see flower, the shape of the flower, how they play roles in the distribution of the seeds, right? So this is a thing that actually in our culture, actually in our religion, but we don't translate it nicely when we study, when we teach about environment and nature, or nature and man and environment, for example, right? I've been talking at an international level on this from Stockholm to Rio and then post Rio and some until now, and I can see the gap somewhere, right? So we continue with the second round, 5 minutes or 3 minutes. Dr. Our first speaker, to answer this, my popular question is the gaps that we are facing in implementing the Dr. Wan. The government is very good. We keep revising uh, continuously or every 5 years, and then the minister keep launching, and we still in uh, more than 50 years, we cannot get 60-40. What are the gaps that you can see from your experience and what your work and your mission, your ambition from your policy that you created? So, Dr. Wan, silakan.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Prof. Ahmad. Yeah, we do see that we acknowledge that there are current gaps still between what our aspirations are and between that and our performance in STEM in terms of enrollment or even at our in our international assessments. But we view this not as a deficit but as a clear opportunity for improvement. And let's look at the current enrollment in STEM. Our national aspiration sets an ambitious target of 60%. Everyone is always chanting about the 60-40 STEM social sciences enrollment at the upper secondary level. Currently, we are at 47.46%, and this is our data as of August 2025. Uh, but this data provides us with a solid foundation to build upon, and we are now in a strong position to push forward and close the gap to realize our full potential. At the same time, I would just like to highlight that in spite that maybe we have still a long way to go, perhaps to reach our 60-40 STEM enrollment, I just would like to highlight that in the 2025 Global Innovation Index (GII), it reported that there is a significant achievement actually for Malaysia, where it shows that 41.1% of our Malaysian graduates are in science and engineering, and we are the highest among 139 economies for on this. And even though overall in GII, our overall ranking is actually at number 34, but in terms of Malaysian graduates in science and engineering, we are among the top there. And meanwhile, according to the 2025 International Institute of Management Development (IMD) World Talent Ranking, Malaysia is actually the second highest in terms of science graduates globally. So I think that is something for us to really look into and also celebrate actually. So therefore we feel that our STEM initiatives, be it at school level or even at higher tertiary level, is on the right track. I would also like to highlight now in terms of our another gap that we also see in terms of our performance, where we are always being compared to in our PISA and TIMSS achievement or performance. We do know and we do realize that there is still more room to improve in our performance in both these international assessments, and we see this as a crucial opportunity to reset and improve. And it directs our attention, because the thing is, when we're talking about the PISA and TIMSS results, when we get our results, what we do is that we deep dive into and analyze our data, and there we can discover where our strengths are and weaknesses are, and that is where we look for how to improve. You see, we address these gaps, and so that we can set the stage for a strong comeback in the future assessments. So I like to echo what Dr. Datin Ng said earlier about humanizing STEM, because you see, in the international assessment results like PISA, we can see how some of the results show that our students relate very closely to what they experience in their daily lives. So, for example, you see, when asked about what are the topics that they are interested in, you see, there are topics that are given in the questionnaire that the students have to answer, and it is always topics that are close to how and what they are experiencing at home or in their lives, that are the ones that interest them most, like the weather, about sustainability, recycling. In fact, you see, in one of the questions in PISA, when students are asked about, it was just a basic question on recycling, but our students went further in explaining why recycling is important, when the question does not require that answer. So you see, it's something that they experience daily, and they are able to reflect and relate to the questions that were asked. And the other aspect that I would like to highlight here is actually about career aspirations. Um, Again, we have data that we can work on in terms of what our students aspire to be when they are 30 years old, because this is what PISA asked them. The students, they take the test, the assessment at 15-year-olds, and they were asked to share uh, who they and what they aspire to be when they turn 30. So what we discover is that, and actually the top 10 career interests among our 15-year-olds um, are not particularly about any professional career that is related to STEM, but more so about professional careers, particularly such as doctors, accountants, engineers. And these are similar between boys and girls. However, in terms of boys, the top career choices also include uniform bodies like police, army, uh, and I'm sorry, the military and the fire department. And you see, the trend indicates that there's a strong student interest in professional careers, such as medicine, law, accounting, and engineering. And that actually, which is also still crucial uh, in Malaysia's economy. However, we can see that several challenges emerge where there is insufficient interest in high-tech and emerging digital careers, which relatively few students aspire to become. But I guess, okay, perhaps, maybe they do not know there are such careers there. They do not have the exposure, do not have that critical awareness to know where to get that information. And I believe that if I can go on to how is it that maybe we need to connect the dots between what is offered at our foundational level at school to what the higher education or universities can offer to close these gaps. And I think partly is that when the universities need to come forward and actually explore or share with students at school about what courses and what are there out there for the future, in the future, or careers or occupation that are needed out there, and what are the qualifications or subjects that students need to really um, a- um, achieve or perform in order to go to that path. Because I'm very sure the interest is there, the
Okay.
curiosity is there, but
Yeah.
they need the right information and the right places to go to get that information. So
Yeah.
I think that's it for now.
Yeah. I can read that when I listen to you, Dr. Wan. I
Yeah.
can see more gaps and dots. More gaps and dots. We are talking same thing for last many years, and then that's why when I involved in many discussion of designing policy. We have very good literature, but we don't really address the policy, the how to do it, the target. What is our target? The sasaran kita, and how to improve. That one's not well mentioned and then not well practiced. That way you can see the gaps are increased. What you are saying is right, true, and then the demand are there, the behavior of change are there, but the gaps to follow through the changes of trend or whatever that mentioned in IR just now is really we need to look at. So thank you very much for your information. So I agree, and we need to fill up the gaps. And then I again like to see Datin to want to explain more. I like this harmonization STEM because when I have a discussion with a group of young scientists, I say they asked me to give opinion what I think of the future young people need. I said you don't need anything. You just need what you want to do. You don't need to have job. You need free food, free transportation, free cinema, free anything. Everything what they want is free, but at the minimum level to survive and live. And they asked me how to do it. I said, you think about it. That is where the young people need. Because now you want them to do something, they say, no, I don't like it. I want to be this. I want to be this, right? I want to eat this. So now we have to change. So how this harmonization in STEM is improving or moving with trends of life. Yeah, very interesting, that thing.
Okay. Before I go into humanizing STEM, I can't help but want to react a little bit on 60-40. You see, I like to actually propose that 60-40 is outdated. Because at the moment, if you look at the job, do we really have a very clear demarcation between STEM and non-STEM job? So you want to say people who work in the bank, is it non-STEM? They are using computer, they are going into AI and all that, you know what I mean? So are we still going to go into having on this, as we want 60% doing this, 40% doing, 60-40 is mostly in the school or in the university. So I do think that we do have to relook at that. What do we mean by 60-40? It may not be so relevant now because the difference between STEM and non-STEM, the line has been blurred. Okay. And at the same time, I think I have been talking about that too before I retired, because as someone policy maker in STEM, I have to meet the university. I have to match between university and school. So I asked the university this question: why are universities so rigid? Young people now in the school, the boys, they not really like to study. They may not want to go engineering or medicine, but when they are a little bit older, they might want. But because they take art subject, they cannot do that in the university. So I know in other countries, sometimes you can take subject in the university as a top up, so that maybe from a non-STEM stream in school, now you can go into medic in the university. Perhaps we need to be a little bit flexible in terms of offering of subject and courses. Okay, so I fully agree with what Dr. Wan Rusaiha said about our students. They do have interest. And in fact, after COVID, when I did a study, when we asked some students, they say they want to go into a career. They want to be a doctor, but more of digital doctor. So actually, what they experience does affect them. One of our problem, probably, I work alongside with this, trying to get our students to get higher score in Teams Visa. And we also realized that things that they have done, they remember. So what is going on in our school is that sometimes they didn't give them opportunity to do experiment. When they don't do experiment, they cannot remember the concept. If they have hands-on, probably that would be good. So that should be something, a policy change, or a policy is there already, but maybe there need to be better implementation of the policy of doing hands-on in the school, either in the science lab or even the maker space and all that. All right, now in round 2, I'm continuing with humanizing STEM. Okay, so the question put forth to me is how to cultivate empathy, value, and social responsibility. Now I remember our speaker from Tendi, who talks about the project that you get the students to work in. And it is through project like this that they find value of social responsibility or empathy, because in design thinking, you have to go through that process of empathy, and then you ideation and things like that. So it is using project-based or problem-based learning where all these things come out very naturally. And especially if we are looking at an interdisciplinary approach of STEM or STEAM or STREAM, then this kind of empathy, cultivation of empathy and responsibility does come out rather automatically. But teachers can't do it automatically. Teachers need training, especially if they have never gone through this. Teacher needs support, something that we need to be cognizant with. Okay. Now, sorry. All right, now I like to talk about critical theory, actually, because critical theory talks about a more just society that we are moving towards. And so there need to be a dialogical process, meaning that questioning to address the real problem of real people about real lives. So just now, the speaker talked about both the speaker, sorry, all of us talk about problems, solving problems and things like that. But we have a major problem here. Can we question about the need of project which are looking at maybe landslide, or maybe looking at the wrong use of cutting down the slope and therefore landslide? Can we question that? You see,
Yes.
yes, but
Yes.
yes, of course we can. But the thing is, are we brave enough to question authority? And does the student or the teacher feel this sense of agency that whatever they do, does it matter? You see, many years ago, I was invited to UNESCO Paris. I was representing the government, the ministry, in sharing with them about our moral education and things like that, and also towards STEM. So UNESCO, they're very clever because they don't get only government servant or government officers to go there. In that hall, I remember we have government sector from the different country. We also have teachers. We also have students. They put us all together. So as we talk about policy and things like that, a group of teachers stand up and they say that you people in the policymaker, you are not fair. You are asking me to do things that you dare not do. You're asking me to do things that cannot be done. You're telling me to tell the students that we need to tackle pollution problem. We cannot simply cut down the hill because this and this and this. But when a
Right.
student come out in the class, outside in the society, it's there. And what am I as a teacher going to tell the student? You see, so it gets me into thinking a lot.
Okay.
All of us, the hall was quiet, yeah. When they
Yeah.
stopped telling that, the hall was quiet because what they say is true, very true. So therefore, when we want to tackle issues like this, there must be a systemic change. There must be also openness, and there must be also a way where we can allow students to maybe send letter to the Dewan Bandaraya or presenting their thoughts. Otherwise, all this will not be fruitful at all. So this critical theory talking about knowing that is our right and to go for this more just society.
Okay.
I
That's it.
think, yeah.
You more? Okay, but shorten,
Okay.
shorten. Yeah.
All right. Now, I'm talking about most of the time we are teaching STEM as a utilitarian and functional. It's very important. I'm a chemistry graduate, okay? It's very important for us to learn the hard science, but we sometimes can be very too utilitarian and functional, and therefore critical pedagogy where we humanize them get the student to talk about it. Why do you need handphone? But someone, you have this handphone here. How are you going to throw it? How are you going to dispose it? But somebody else don't have handphone. So what is the issue? There are so many more issues there. So these issues should be brought up for open discussion. The society need to be a more open society. There must be courageous action and things like that. So I'm suggesting dialogic-based pedagogy, where we need to talk about it, critical pedagogy, a holistic one. And so there is a need to view this phenomena from the lens of the young people too. Old people like us, sometimes we think that we are right. Okay, so actually UNESCO IBE have these 10 clues of retaining curriculum. One of it is about putting the young people in the forefront. I'm going to stop at this point. Thank you.
Thank you, Datin. Involved with NGO last 30 years. I've gone through this from kindergarten right to the professors in the university. I can tell who. They don't really care, actually. So if you want to talk about protest, government, PBT, and so on, I think you asked me, I did it, and then they are either blind or they don't hear anything, they don't care. So that's why we still have recently river pollution, Sungai Buloh, #1 polluted in Selangor, and with high technology we have, with very good people in the university, engineers and so on, good background academic, but we still have a problem. So where went wrong? Gap become bigger. So Doctor, next one. Who is the next speaker? Dr. Sati, we want to comment on the issue that you talked just now, after you listened to last 3 speakers, and please, very short. I need your story on example, maybe it's better than rather than back to theory, dreaming, or yes, good ideas, because many people read the books, they agree with you, but how to do it, how to implement it, focus to the issues, that not many doing it.
Understand,
Please.
Doctor.
Yeah.
Between that was the question asked for me as well. So it's very interesting. The question was asked to me was, if I can redesign one STEM course tomorrow to better integrate AI and transferable competencies for Industry 4.0, what would I change? Will I change content, pedagogy, assessment, or industrial collaboration? So my take will be pedagogy and assessment, because we talked about, moving away from just giving in just knowledge, right? So we have to look at knowledge, skills, and skills, not only the hard skills, but also soft skills, which are transferable, and also understanding. Yes, I'm learning this. Yes, I have the skill, but how do I apply that in real world? How do I make it into a meaningful learning? So that's the question. So I think our education system now currently still focusing a lot more on knowledge. Yes, we have transferred a bit more on focusing on the skills with introducing classroom-based assessments, those kind of things. But I think that's where we can, improve a bit more, where we empower teachers to run and understand how do we do classroom-based assessment, moving away from pencil and paper assessments, those kind of things. So when a student is doing project, they are guided well with scaffolded models, like I said, design thinking, computational thinking, where students are given different models to think about. So their metacognition and cognition are very clear when they're doing these real-world projects. And also, looking at how we're going to assess the project. It's not about, oh, this is a beautiful, water fountain that, for the sustainable climate, or this is a very good coded microbit project to save animals from endangerment. It's not only that. We have to see the process of how it's being done. So marks, when we are looking at the project, we have to evaluate and take consideration about digital design journals, reflective portfolios, how students have performed during the project, and their ethical reasoning checkpoints. Like, are they asking ethical question, when they are doing this project? Is it being captured as part of their assessment points? So these are small changes that we can make in our teaching and learning pedagogy method, so that it makes a lot of meaning into when they're doing a project for students, right? And we also have to, look at how they're defining the problem. Is their solution inclusive of everyone in the community? How they handle biasness in the data when they working with the AI, and how they reflect and improve their design. These are the things where teachers have to focus on rather than just the end product. Right? And teachers supporting the students to think in this way, so that the entire project makes a lot more sense for our learners. So although we have classroom-based assessment, I know we are still considering other assessments like UASA, end of term examinations and everything. So there has to be a right balance, because we can speak about project-based learning, authentic assessments and everything. But at the end of the day, if higher education is only going to consider SPM for enrollment, then everything that we are teaching from primary to secondary, it just collapses. So it has to be a good connection between primary education, secondary education, and tertiary education, where student portfolios are also considered. Everything, we look into a wholesome individual, for their progress and lifelong learning, to support them for lifelong, learning. So that's my take, if you ask me, for industry 4.0, even 5.0 in that matter. And yeah, I think that's my take about how we can bring the change. Yes, Doctor?
Yeah, okay. Thank you very much. We are talking about multi-varsity. We are talking about the graduation by training. You can register to university. And many years ago, I've been talking with a company, digital company, want to have the digital university, right? Then the student can choose which university, what program they want to graduate, and they just click what program they have to take from which university they want to go. So now it's a very great challenging for the university lecturer. Maybe they might lose their job if they don't plan properly where to position themselves at the university. So a lot of things need to be changed, and the curriculum, and we have the expert here to discuss, and maybe we can get a comment from Dr. Tian on her expertise to see how STEM, TVET, and whatever related to what we are talking for the future country. Dr. Tian.
Thank you very much. Allow me to share screen again. And before I respond to this question be given to me about many Gen Alpha students are digital native, but they still most likely feel STEM is very hard. So what can we do to lower the psychological barrier so that they are more interested or excited to pursue this? But before that, allow me to address a few points in our conversation. Number one, just now I think someone mentioned about my experience in multidisciplinary learning. Yes, we spent many years in actually making this possible for every talent student to experience broad-based multidisciplinary learning, where every student get a chance, even engineering student can get a chance to choose modules or subjects from across the different discipline, including business, based on their career aspiration, based on the interest, based on what they want to do in the future. And every student as well have a chance to actually work in collaboration. Imagine engineering student, design student, and business student working together for the startup. So the power of learning, leveraging on the strength of different disciplines. So my point, I think, is possible. And at the same time, a very important experience that we had, I also want to share, is actually every student have a chance to work with actually NGOs, government, or companies to address real-world issues as part of their learning experience. Again, my point is, it's possible, it's scalable, and it can be done. So I also feel very strongly, I want to support the importance of sense of agency, because the point of the sense of agency comes from not being able to highlight the problem only, but being able to propose solutions. I think it's important for us to help our students to present themselves as part of the solution, not just part of the problem. And so back to this question, allow me to share my personal experience as well as my learning along the journey. There are three important shifts that I think we can consider to manage this psychological barrier. The first one I want to share with you is actually how to make it meaningful, how to make STEM meaningful before make it difficult. And this, I remember this conversation with my son who asked me this question, why do I have to learn fractions, decimal, and percentage? I don't even know how to use them. And I think this is not a question about being confused in learning, but it's about showing me why it matters. Imagine my son and all the kids in the country have a chance to measure, for example, how far they've cycled, how much food reduction, measure how much food waste reduction that have been salvaged, as well as for them to experience preparing budget for the class projects or activities. It makes learning meaningful, and it makes the difficult task to be a lot more manageable because it's being actually presented in a very purposeful manner in a context that they are familiar. And another very important shift I think we can consider is to shift from solo test performance to collaborative problem solving. It's important for our kids to feel that they are not being tested on how good they are, but actually they are working together to figure out how to actually tackle this situation or issues that we are facing. For example, why does school feel third? How much food is wasted in our canteen every week? Which design gives the most shade at our bus stop? These are important questions that our kids can work together so that they see that learning is actually a lot more meaningful, and in fact, it's fun as well. And a lot of studies have shown that when they can learn in a very meaningful and in the context that they are familiar with, this psychological barrier can be actually softened. It doesn't make STEM learning easier, it just makes it a lot more easier to manage. And this is the third shift that I think is closest to my heart and mentioned by Dating Ng as well. It's very important to build sense of agency early. Let children feel that they can do something about it. And I want to share with you a story close to home. My son loved to cycle at a park near the neighborhood. But every time he go to the park, the entrance tends to be blocked by cars or motorcycle. And he get very frustrated. And seeing his frustration, I asked him this question: do you want to do about it? Do you want to do something about it? So after a little bit of encouragement, he said yes. So what we did, we took photos, including this one that we took photos, we discussed potential solutions, and we even wrote a proposal to the local city council together. And what you can see on the screen, do you see the yellow color line on the floor? This is actually the response from the local city council to the proposal later from my son and myself. So I think this is so important. This is not a school assignment, but this is tackling something my son cares about. And this really nurtures the sense of agency, which is so important because STEM education is about solving problems, isn't it? Through this experience, my son learned that, number one, he can identify a problem. Number two, he can understand the problem. Number three, he can actually propose solution and he can make a difference. I think this is the experience that we all can offer to our younger generation in the country. And this is something I would like to advocate for as well. So this is an example to me, a STEM in action in a very meaningful context. So I think back to the question, how to make STEM learning, how to manage a psychological barrier, reduce a psychological barrier in STEM education, I think it's not to make it easier, but to make it more meaningful, more collaborative, and more human. Because when our generation alpha, our kids, our younger generation, see that learning can be more meaningful, they see the impact of what they have done, they are likely to be more willing to persist, to take risks, and to enjoy the challenge. For colleagues here who would like to actually have more information, I would like to share the book that my colleagues and I have published recently in September, 10 case studies to guide academics on how to make this happen. You can get a copy from Taylor's Press. To conclude, I really look forward to see our younger generation to look at challenges the community face, the kampong, the town, as well as a school face and say, this is my problem too, and I want to solve it. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I like it. Where are you staying? Are you staying in Subang Jaya?
PJ? Oh,
Yeah,
no, PJ.
PJ.
City Council.
I like
So just
your
in case you're curious, who
story. Because I did it, I can tell you more, maybe 1 hour to tell my story, how to engage a student. In fact, I study what students study at school, what subject that I like. Then I bring them to the field and ask them to do as what they learn in class. You see, hands-on, what we mentioned earlier, is very important. Harmonize with living is important. And then what you're saying, give example. Last time we have science pertanian. We have seni perusahaan during my time. We have science rumah tangga. Then we change to kemahiran hidup, whatever, and then they keep changing. I don't know what is the mind of the policy maker and the Ministry of Education. Now we talk about food security. You see, they don't see the future. So I think from this discussion, Dato' Majid can help me to conclude this matter. We bring seriously to the government to respond to this conference today and the forum today, so that we can provide some ideas, especially with the one is here. Of course, this thing can go through.
Okay, inshallah.
The function of IAB, the function of IPG. And I remember Dato' Majid, when I first came back with UPM, and I joined UPM, I go for counseling class, right?
Yeah.
I went to counseling class and I have a few series of workshop on counseling because as a lecturer, it's very important to know basic counseling. But we don't have this in our program. So I might volunteer to do that. And what our speakers talked just now, children education, youth education, and university or adult education is a different approach. And from different background, the counselors are very important. So it's something that we need. So I think I open for the discussion on the forum, the participant. Anything to ask, to comment? Datuk Majid dulu.
No, I don't have because it's very interesting. I see the connection, very strong connection between all the four speakers. And I think the main focus seems like we are actually have to engage students in their learning, especially the meaningful learning. We do have the project, and I'm very happy, Julie, when we first initiated the what you call the Plan Pembangunan Pendidikan. I think you remember the thrust is on the what you call the critical thinking.
Yeah.
So I'm very, very happy to see the movement. And as maybe Muhammad also knows that I was involved in the what call the transformation or the curriculum from the content based to the outcome. So there is a movement actually. So I would like to see these things move forward, as I see the young speakers just now was talking about. I think we have to engage the student to understand, not only to understand, but also to feel and to have a meaningful learning so that they are ready anytime for the future. So that's it. I think that's all, Muhammad, for the time being.
It's go to the idea put by, I think, Dr. Wan just now. The changing of trends, student like interested or whatever in science, is hands-on is very important. The what you analyze from teams and another analyze last time, the international branding or whatever ranking, that is actually for the young generations very much referred to hands-on, practical. So maybe the theory we had to redesign I think when I learned mathematics, for example, a long time ago, we learn from the development of theorem. We understand the theory. Then at the end, then we apply. So now we just, like, how many people can do statistics? They just put the data in and they got the data. They got the result. Significant or not significant, but they don't
Yeah.
understand what significant is. So this is the issue that we need to look back at the curriculum. Maybe we are on the wrong track, too much thinking of solution, problem solving. Mathematics is problem solving. That's why we uh, we we make it compulsory. Everybody must learn mathematics.
Alright.
So anyone to comment on the one? Or we open to participants?
Saya
Yeah.
better
Yeah.
engage the participant. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Who's
I
talking?
am Chris from Segi University. I would like to address this question to Dr. Wan. Yeah, Dr. Wan. Yeah, may I know how can university address the gap in addressing all this problem that we are currently facing?
Unmute the one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for the question about how can universities help I mean, how can we close the gap between what the universities can offer and what is it that the schools need? Well, I do have quite a list here actually, but I don't know whether if I have the time to say all this. But what I can say is that we should strengthen collaboration between universities and schools. You see, because universities should work closely with schools to enhance hands-on STEM learning and integrate real-world industry exposure into the education pipeline. As I have said earlier, where you need to create that platform to expose students and give them awareness about what it is, the courses that universities have to offer. Bring them to invite them to your universities and get them to and see what you do there, your labs and all that. I do know that there's some public universities who actually bring their school children to their labs, but they always say that their challenge is that they can only bring those the students which schools are just around that in the surrounding area, because that's all that they can cope with. I remember as a student, I was brought I had this really fantastic professor that we knew in our tuition class, and he brought us to the museum at University of Malaya, and we saw some really really interesting life organs and that set our curiosity, because he was trying to engage us, like, love biology, because he was a professor in biology. Love biology, see what you can do and you see what you can discover when you learn biology and all that. So I think that there needs to be that. It is not enough when students are just going into their school labs and exploring what they can at that minimum level in the classroom, in the school labs. But they need to know that, oh, I can go further, and by doing so, if I were to get into this university and they have all these gadgets and equipment, and I would be able to learn all this and all that. Yeah,
Okay, thank you. Another one.
that's one example. I have
Yeah,
others actually.
good. That's why government recently they organize the 100 x 3. 100 experts go to 100 school for 100 days.
Yes,
So I did that.
yes,
I have the minister. I said, take my activity into your scale, in your timetable, whatever. So then he said he can get 100 x 3. And then we have a program back to school. You see, most of sekolah semua penuh, they're doing this. They go back to the school, dinner, whatever, expose their knowledge, their expertise to the student. That's good thing. But for the university, I think they cannot be a school or they cannot be a tadika, the university should go beyond. That's why we have research. We have to improve our knowledge. And when talking about STEM, it's not science field only. It's thinking, scientific thinking, right? Scientific thinking will discipline yourself. So this is what we want to enhance in the curriculum. That's what many as panel said just now, actually humanization, all the hands-on environment, all talk about life, what we need in life. So thinking through science is important. That's why now you see people mak rempit repair their own motorbike. You see, they don't have to go to workshop. Near my house, so they repair at night. You know, then they make noise. So this because they don't have extra knowledge on human. They have the creativity, they have the idea, but they don't have next for human, for environment. So that's why curriculum is very important. Teaching is very important. I always say IABNIPG every time I mention that. And then at many places, including to the minister, but not happening as what I want. So maybe I'm wrong, but I can see the result is wrong. So we cannot reach what we want to do. Environmental issue can continue, and then flood and wrongly designed building and so on. Please come up with where? Attitude, thinking, humanization, curriculum in the university, looking for money alone. Money is not everything, right? Satisfaction is everything. So any question from, don't let me do talking.
Yes, sir, I got a question.
Talking a lot. Okay, next. Anybody?
Yeah, I got a question.
There is also a question in the chat.
Hamidi.
Who is that?
Put forward. Okay, given that the schools have only about...
Wait, Dr. Sheila, can you check the chat box?
Okay,
next, Hamidi.
Yeah.
Okay,
just
silakan.
one question to pose. Given that the primary schools have about 9 periods, 6 periods of maths and 3 periods of science, and over 6 years, so what practical and innovative strategies can schools adopt to genuinely spark and sustain students' interest in STEM, despite such limited formal instruction? Because it's a primary school is the base. You build the interest from there. With a limited time, how are they going to get interested in STEM? Thank you.
May I share a thought around that? May I share my thoughts around that question? Because my son is in primary 3 now.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I have vested interest to answer this question. I also want to share my personal experience at the university. I think one of the very important lessons I learned from the past many years is that I did not realize the power of CSO, the civic society organization, NGOs, and foundation, social entrepreneurs exist in the country. There are hundreds of them. And we did not leverage on the power that they bring, because these NGOs exist because they care. And a lot of NGOs actually work with kids, school, primary and secondary school kids, to help them to care and to want to do something positive for the common good. So I wish I know this earlier, but finally we managed to tap on this superpower to collaborate with university, and I believe they are more than happy to collaborate with schools to make this happen. Teachers, I'm so used to university. Teachers in the schools are really having heavy workload, and I'm not sure how I can help them, but I thought maybe offering myself and offering all the NGOs exist in the country to work in partnership with schools. And because we have common vision, we want what is better for the world, what is better for our country, what's better for our younger generation. So if there's an opportunity to actually tap on them to build collaboration, they are the extra manpower, brand power, whatever you want to call it, to actually help you to realize your dream. Thank you.
Okay. Amiri, where are you from, Amiri? Familiar name.
Can I say something?
Secretary of MAE.
Datin, okay, Datin, say something before I say something. You say first. Who's going to say?
Maybe Dr. Wan want to. If not, I will give my perspective.
Okay, Datin first.
Okay, yeah.
Datin first, yeah.
Okay. you see, in Malaysia, we are very unique because we have many subjects. This has been my bread and butter for many years now, okay? So we have many subjects. And so we have limited time in school. And at one point, I think we wanted to go full day, but then because afternoon got to go sekolah agama, also cannot. So which is one of the reasons why sometimes we may see that we don't have enough time. But I always like to think positively. Okay. Like for example, when we talk about exploration, actually a language subject cannot be taught in vacuum. So even in language also, you can do exploration in science. Okay, which is why now Alam Manusia is something that trying to go thematic. So therefore, learning of science or scientific thinking is not only necessary only in science. So that's why I think our teacher training for Sekolah Rendah is generalist. When it is generalist, the teacher need to know what are the thinking skills and all. So definitely, design thinking lah or higher order thinking lah is not only in science. So it doesn't matter if the period is less. But I don't think this is correct because I don't think maths definitely will have more time than this. I do not think that science and maths is only 9 period. Maybe
I'm very sure about that. It's only 9.
this
That's
is what
6.
year what?
That's 3.
Year what?
For primary school. No, from year 1 to 6.
No,
For the
it's
6
not.
years.
I don't think it is. I don't think it is 9 for
My
science
experience,
and maths lah.
I
Yeah,
taught 35 years in primary school. So,
I can check for you.
okay,
I
thank
can
you.
straight away check for you
Okay.
because I think maths we have quite a lot. I don't know, Dr. Wan, right now unless you change.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
One,
I don't have. Yeah, I don't have the number of periods with me at hand at the moment because my team is also checking at the moment. Because you see, we are already transitioning also to the new curriculum in 2027. But yes, what I would like to say is that when it comes to learning science or math, in fact, or STEM for that matter, it is not compartmentalized by subject. It should not be seen as that, but it should be more of a cross-curricular activity, and it goes into co-curriculum activities as well. And as Datin has said just now in about the new venture, the new subject that we will be venturing on, Alam dan Manusia, that combines science, RBT, music, and arts. So that is a way of encouraging students to explore learning in many different ways and subjects. Yeah.
okay, thank you. I agree. Merentas desa pula, merentas curriculum. One thing I can advise if you are concerned about education, active in PIBG. Be yang di Pertua, YDP. I met parent every day. What you want your children to be? And I told the teacher, the parent want this. And then I help the teacher to fulfill what parent needs through Ministry of Education. I start call Ketua Pengarah. So this is how you want to do it. And in the university, you be a president of Persatuan Academic. You can talk to the vice chancellor what you want. And now I'm the president of Congress Persatuan Academic Malaysia. So I talk to the minister what I want for the gap that you mentioned just now. You keep talking, I can see more gaps, right? So I will strongly advise Dato' Majid from our discussion today, it will go through 3 ministers and CC to Prime Minister, right? Because Prime Minister has said that on 16th of May 2023 in Malacca, Ministry of Higher Education, Ministry of Education, and Ministry of Must be together in TEM. Otherwise, you don't talk, wasting time, right? Wasting time. And then I can tell one thing for the private university. I went to UCSI, I went to whatever city university, and close with my friends in TELUS. You organize, Dr. Sheila, you organize program, whatever we have today. The training for teachers. Don't hope ministry can do it because they have long protocol. long procedure, long bureaucracy, right? You have to get signature from many levels. So I'm very lucky because the top to the bottom are my ex-student. So I can walk in 3 days. So you have to do in 3 months. So then another thing, you work with NGO. When I was as president MNS last time, I bring co-curriculum, bagian co-curriculum together with me. And until now, for I think more than 10 years, we are working together. What Dr. Wan mentioned just now, collaborating, cross-curriculum and so on, it must happen with our involvement, not just complaining on the street. So this is my country, your student, your children are my society. Dr. Tiana, that's why when I used Taylor College also last time, sorry, because I got friends there and my daughter was there, and then I can use them. And I'm very lucky, I can tell you more about Taylor College, where you can do this thing easily. And one of my students are also there. So this is the thing that the beauty of become a lecturer. And then, of course, that Datuk Majid have better than me. He has more networking. And I believe next week, I want to check with the Prime Minister, Datuk Majid. Do you receive message from Persatuan Polytechnic? Can you do that? It's not a joke.
Yeah. Okay, I hear. Yeah, I hear you.
Make sure apa yang Datuk Wan, Dr. Wan mentioned, Datin mentioned, all
Sure, sure.
relevant to
Sure,
bring
sure.
our education or to truly transform our education.
That's our purpose of MAE.
Yes. So I believe you, I trust you, I support you. I want to bring more
Thank you, thank you.
education. So anyone last question from the
I want to add something. Actually, I feel that this session is really good. A lot of really fantastic points you guys have shared. We should document everything actually. And the thing is that one of the thing is that we need private-public partnership. Sometimes government hands may be tight to do things,
Yes.
but the private sector can play a more important role.
Yeah.
Like NGO, probably the first thing is for you to join PEMA individually, all right, so that every individual can make a change, because we have a different group like TVET group, school group, teachers group inside PEMA itself. We can actually serve together. Now, one of the point I want to share, I want to echo Dr. Satisha's comment about contextualization, putting in world perspective, right? Even the number one, those kind of super countries, first world countries, are asking the industry, hey, what do you think? We are Japan, we are Singapore. What do you think? Because they're having fewer and fewer babies. And if these babies don't go into science and technology, and majority of the children in preschool, right, they like singing, dancing, storytelling, STEM, you know, my head hurts. After I become the boy, I rest for 1 minute, I die already. How? But sometimes the countries say, wow, Malaysia is good. You have oil. Indonesia have all the biggest nickel pan, but we only have human resource. If we don't build this human resource, what are we going to do? Like say one case study from Singapore, right? The government actually engaged the Publishers Association. We need to do something to get the kids interested. Find something to get very, very early, like 3 years old, to be interested in STEM. So what they do is that they start comics for STEM from 3 years old onwards. So something simple like, Mommy, why do you yawn? The fire will tell you why you yawn. Then, Daddy, why do you brush your teeth? The 7 years old will tell you why you brush your teeth. Oh, the chichat died already. The chichat dropped the tail, but the chichat died. So the kids will build a confident telling STEM stories and teaching the adults, you know. So they find that, wow, my confidence build is so nice and so good to relate to real life situation, like Dr. Sasisha was sharing. When they relate to real life situation and they're applying it, right? And Dr. Tian was saying, make a difference, go and report the case if there's something that is not right, right? And solve the community problem together. When we have community scientists, right? It will make a lot of difference, and success begets success. The more story you make, the more success story you do,
where
it
you
will
staying,
grow,
Keith?
the fire will start.
Keith, where are you
This is
staying?
sharing, lah.
No,
Yes, sir.
Keith, where you staying? Are you from UCSI or you
No,
from?
Oh, I'm in Cheras. I'm the deputy president for MAE. I'm
Yeah,
supporting Dr. Majid.
I can see when you are talking, I like to call you one day. Because why?
Sure, we do that.
How I did before with the PIBG, I call the professional, the parent of very professional people, and they help me because
I served in a few PIBG in the international schools when my kids was there, and that's the best
okay.
ideas
But
that will come.
your experience, we have to share to answer what Dr. Wan mentioned just now, the cross curriculum, and then to answer the humanization that he mentioned, to answer all the hands-on mentioned just now. So I think our discussion is very good. I'm happy to have more like this, Dr. Ajit.
Yeah, sure.
I think we stop here before you give your long comment on until 4:30. I give back to Dr. Sheila. Thank you very much. Thank you for the opportunity. As a retired person, of course, like to speak. Nobody with me except Kuching. So, Dr. Wan, I'm willing to
Doctor.
help. I always help the ministry until now to make sure, like what we said just now, what the future generation want, what the parent want for their children, and what kind of environment we want in the future. So thank you very much. Like your ideas, and we conclude something better. Thank you. Back to you, Sheila.
Prof, we have one more question from Siti Nora actually.
Oh, ada lagi?
In the chat box. How can STEM job mismatch be reduced while strengthening the employability of STEM graduates?
No,
Last
that one
question.
very simple. If you really do the government policy on latihan industry, working with the industry, we can solve that problem quickly. The problem is the gaps not really happening because of the money. But if you deal nicely, you can solve the money problem. Through NGO, I have to find 5 million a year to help the young generation, working with the corporate sectors. And they are happy and they ask me, why not university come forward and work with us so that we can recruit the real worker that they want. For example, they used Vietnamese last time. Now Vietnamese go back to their country. The Japanese bring the company to Vietnam. And here, we have to maintain with our people. They like Malaysia. Malaysia work hard and discipline, honest, and so on. This is we don't see in our quality. I hope I answered that question. We are following the previous question outside, and we want the university to listen to what we are talking, and then they must do it. The problem is, I'm the president of Malaysian Congress Association. I know a problem in the university. The perangai naib chancellor pun I tahu. So we have to be focused. What demand from the society is very important. This is our country. Thank you. Any comment from the panel? If not, we go back, Sheila, to Dr. Najib.
All right, thank you very much, Prof. Dr. Ahmad. And heartfelt thanks to all our distinguished speakers, Dr. Wan, Datin Eng Subun, Dr. Satisha, and Dr. Tian Lok Boon. Thank you very much for sharing their insights, expertise, and experiences. We learned a lot from this sharing. Thank you so much. To all our participants, thank you for spending your evening with us and for your active engagement throughout the webinar. On behalf of MAE and our committee, we appreciate your support and hope today's session has been meaningful and enriching. We wish everyone a productive weekend ahead. Thank you. Stay safe and have a wonderful weekend. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
thank
you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prof. Majid.
Thank you, Zila. Well done.
Hi, Dr. Wan. How are you?
Okay, bye.
Hi. Bye, Datin.
Yeah.
Bye.
Okay. See you.
Good to see you online,
Yeah,
Datin.
good to see you. Okay, catch
Yes,
up.
yes,
Okay,
yes.
bye.
Yeah,
Bye.
but I have something that I want to say to Prof. Ahmad actually. But now that we are over, we finished. But can I just say it here?
Why not?
Sure.
Yeah, Prof. Ahmad, when you were saying just now about be active in PIBG, yeah, because you see your observation is really, really spot on. Because studies have shown that parental involvement, when parents are involved actively in the children's school, then you can see that the students will also understand and want to make learning meaningful. because when they see that their parents care. But you see, the sad thing is that the sad thing is that, you know, parents who are T20s or B40s, their children are crying out for them to pay attention to them. You know, it goes across socioeconomic status.
Yes, exactly.
You see,
That's why
that's what
parents
studies
very
are
important.
showing.
I meet parent every day, you know. And who you want to tackle? I live in Subang Jaya. There are many Chinese. The Chinese, you have to tackle the wife, the mother of the children. I got money, I got support, I got everything from them. So I support the B40. When they know that I'm supporting B40, they give more money. You see how it should work. And then what are the problem with your children? Say mathematics. Who is the teacher? What is the problem? We call the trainer from IPG or whatever to teach technique hands-on for that particular student, for that particular class. So we managed to bring this sekolah biasa to sekolah based study. I brought the parent and the teacher to sekolah Jepun di Subang. And they brought that, and yeah, they are so excited. They are waiting in front of the gate to say hello, bye-bye, good morning, helping the teacher. So we solve the traffic problem. We make students happy. Easy. So ABG is very important. And the headmasters are happy with me. Until now, we are trained still copy. Both of us are retired already. What you say is right. To get the PIBG support, not that easy.
Yeah.
Not that.
Yeah. PIBG as well as parents. Parents in general of the
PIBG,
school.
what I mean, parent. You know, parent. So parent come with, like me in Subang Jaya, parents are at upper middle class. So they come with everything. You want everything, you just petik jari. You will get it. Especially, I said, for our community. They will support. But to get this kind of leader, there are 20 years I there. I work there. All the community know me. Because I use that. That's why I asked Amidi just now, Keith, where are you? I want this kind of people to to make. And for the college swasta, Sheila, I suggest, I talked to many already, you organize a training for teachers, for example, right? Because many pensyarah retired professor work with the private colleges. Then you can make money. Charge them, or government don't have.
You have that thing there. Okay.